In all honesty, it started as a writing exercise. I wanted to see just how crazy I could write, and I read a book by Tom Robbins, and I thought, good God, this guy is about as wacko as I've ever read. And I thought, if somebody can get that published, why can't I just do it on a lark? And so the book started like the first chapter with just me trying to be as weird as possible. And so that's where we got into cross-dressing truck drivers from Skokie, Illinois. It's just, I pulled it out of my ass. It was the weirdest stuff I could think of at the time. Then the book idea came. Because that's where I live. I've lived here for 20 years. The book moves around across the country, and the book moves to places that I've lived in. So the whole book is basically follows my journey through life, if you would. It starts, actually, the story starts in an orphanage in Tacoma, Washington, which is where I started, an orphanage in Tacoma, Washington. And it pretty much follows me through my life. Most of the book was written in my room. When I wrote the book, most of the book was written while I was teaching, and so I'd get through with the day teaching. I'd come home, and I was living in a basement apartment in Beaverton, Oregon, and I wrote most of it in about 6 months. And then I've been fine-tuning it for the last 2.5 years. I can't write at all. As far as penmanship, it's like, I don't know, 10 years ago my penmanship just left me. My ability to write the written word, I cannot do it any longer. If it wasn't for computer, nobody would ever know my thoughts. The computer is it. And they had to drag me kicking and screaming into the computer age, and now I can't survive without it. Without a doubt, Harper Lee wrote the greatest book I've ever read in my entire life. To Kill a Mockingbird. I read that like we all do in high school, and I thought, good God, what that woman was capable of doing, the feelings of the time that she captured, it was just unbelievable. And that's when I decided I wanted to try to write, was when I read Harper Lee. And I haven't seen anybody that can match her since. Bill I can see, because Bill's me. Tweety, I can see Tweety. And a lot of Tweety was my college roommate. I won't use his name because he may hate me for it, but he had a lot of Tweety's characteristics in him that was I just found fascinating. Such a free spirit. Nothing seemed to bother him. He'd study at night, and his back was to me, and I used to throw darts right past his head. And occasionally I'd and hit him in the back of the head. It didn't faze him. He'd take the dart out and he'd keep studying. That's Tweety. Tweety just goes through life and nothing seems to bother him. And I love that. He thinks he talked to the King of Prussia. 2,000 years ago. He's convinced of it. I love it. I love it. His personality is pretty close to mine. He wants to believe, he wants to be positive about life, but he's so cynical from what he's seen from life that he just, it's like Sheila has to drag him by the short hairs and drag him into happiness. He just fights it every inch of the way. He doesn't believe what she's selling. She's selling love, which he doesn't think exists. She's selling hope, which he has none of. That was me 10 years ago. I didn't think there was not that I didn't think there was anything to live for, but I sure didn't see the point in it. Yeah, incredibly easy. Incredibly easy. I wrote the introduction, and I did that in an afternoon playing around. And I woke up the next day and I knew what the story was going to be. The storyline was in my brain the next day. And once I started the story, I was about 2 months into it and I knew what the end would be. So the storyline was incredibly easy for me. I have no idea where it came from. I have no idea how it happened. It's just one of those things that popped in my head and flowed after that. That's a tough one. You know, I hope rednecks don't like it. You know, it was my intention to burn their ass as much as possible, but teenagers will like this book. You know, 20s, 30s. The 60s generation will love it because that's me and a lot of the memories of the 60s and that kind of thought process is in the book. You know, who won't like it? Dyed-in-the-wool conservative Republicans. Rednecks from North Dakota. They'll hate it. I probably won't sell a book in North Dakota. You know what? I can live with that.